You'll get great tips always right here every Sunday morning because it is, of course, week 4 in the NFL. And if your fantasy team is maybe 1-2 or even worse, 0-3, is it time to panic? We have Jeff Corcini and Russ Bliss from FantasyFootballStarters.com joining us this morning. And guys, this is really when we start looking at the injuries in the bye week because that can all play a role in who you have to start.
That's right, Tess. And now there's been 3 weeks. We're going into week 4. This is the time when those things are so important. Lots of injuries going on, especially at the running back position. Bye weeks, you got to factor all these things in, and nobody better to talk about injuries than Mr. Bliss over here. He keeps an eye on it every day.
I just asked him, how much time do you spend looking at stats and updates? And he, about 12 hours minimum.
Yeah.
And you have to because there's always updates. What's the injury update this morning for us?
Well, let's go ahead and start off with quarterbacks. And Matt Stafford, the quarterback for the Detroit Lions, he's not going to play this week. Again, he's out with the shoulder injury. Of course, you've got running backs. Steven Jackson is going to be a game-time decision today. He's got the groin injury. He tried practicing a little bit on Friday. Don't think he's going to make it a go. I think Ken Darby's going to end up getting the start. Clinton Portis has got the wrist injury. He's questionable, but he will start today. Then Ray Rice with the Baltimore Ravens, knee bruise. He's going to start. He is expected to play. He's going to test it in pregame warm-ups. Noshan Moreno of the Broncos was already ruled out, and Andre Johnson of the Texans, ankle injury that he aggravated last week, game-time decision. He's getting special treatment to try and get ready to play in this game. You sit him. Even if he's active, he stands a real good chance of aggravating that ankle injury just like he did last week.
So these guys that you mentioned, these are do not start these folks because they could be playing bad with an injury or they could not play at all.
Ray Rice is about the only one that I'd think about actually starting today, and other than that, no.
Okay, let's talk about bye weeks. And when I first got involved in fantasy football, I'm like, what is a bye week? I didn't realize, and I thought it was a B-I, but it's actually B-Y-E, like in goodbye, because they're not playing that week.
That's right, Tess. Now, for the next 6 to 8 weeks, right, Russ, we've got Dallas. So if you've got Tony Romo, if you've got Jason Witten, the tight end, if you've got Dez Bryant, or you don't want to start those guys, can't play them. Same thing in Kansas City with the Chiefs. They're off to a 3-0 start. Not a lot of fans around Matt Castle, right, Russ? But if you've got Jamal Charles, if you've got Thomas Jones, you don't want to play those guys, or Dwayne Bowie. You can't play them. Minnesota, Brett Favre, can't start him. Can't start Visanthe Shanko. Got to avoid those players. Tampa Bay, Josh Freeman, not a big play. Probably got to avoid him. And Cadillac Williams, too. You can't play any of those guys. And you want to make sure, Tess, time in and time out, that you pay attention to those things, because now it's about managing your roster, and it's about setting a real strong lineup every week. And there's some good plays.
Is there still hope for folks who are maybe 0-3 right now?
Absolutely. And there's some good plays this week too.
Okay, good.
Some good ones.
Yeah, we've had some good plays you were talking about.
Yeah, we'll start with quarterbacks again, where Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons gets a great matchup this week. He's at home. He gets the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers have allowed have allowed 7 passing touchdowns so far in 3 games. Matt Ryan's coming off the great games against Arizona and then last week against the New Orleans Saints. Matt Ryan is a very good play this week.
I think there's a letdown there, though, but I'm hoping, Russ.
49er fan.
Let's talk about running backs, and I know this guy was a suggestion from you guys to my husband, Arian Foster, and he said, that's the best tip I ever got, because I know the first week I think he scored like 200 and something yards.
Yeah, he had 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. Arian Foster, another great play today. He takes on the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders are giving up an average of 133 rushing yards and a touchdown rushing per game. Arian Foster has really started to come along and become a true dominant force in fantasy football. He's a great play today. And then at wide receiver, you've got a bunch of good wide receivers, but somebody that's been disappointing of late, Reggie Wayne of the Indianapolis Colts. He's got a great matchup against Jacksonville.
So start him.
Yeah, in 2 games versus Jacksonville last year, he caught 15 passes for nearly 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Great play this week.
All right, good matchup there. Let's talk about our Arizona Cardinals at San Diego. Talk about, we need to do better, obviously, this week.
Tess,
step up.
Yeah, last week we predicted a close game, and it was a close game. This week, they've really got to rely on that running game. They've got to go out because their passing game is weak right now, right? So Timmy Hightower, they got some great play out of Beanie Wells. They got to get over 100 yards combined. If they don't do that, Tess, we're predicting them to lose like 31-17. team. The running game is so important, and why is because they've got injuries right now at the wide receiver position.
Couple of them,
early
right?
Doucette is out, and Steve Breston, he's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks, so they're relying on Stephen Williams and Max Comar, some of these rookies that are going to have to step up and play. So the big piece right here is they've got to get and establish a running game. Their quarterback, Derek Anderson, right now, not a real accurate passer. We're only predicting maybe 168 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's got to manage the game, not try to win it, but it's all going to be built around the run on offense.
Or you rely on your veterans like Fitz.
That's
right. Exactly. Now, opposing the San Diego Chargers defensively, the Arizona Cardinals got to be looking out for Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers leads the NFL in passing yards so far with 1,087. He's got 7 passing touchdowns in 3 games so far, and his favorite target has been Antonio Gates, the big tight end. Antonio Gates has been injured the past couple of years, but still one of the dominant tight ends. He's totally healthy this year, and he's been outstanding. 240 some odd yards, 4 touchdowns so far on the season, and the Cardinals have got to make sure that they account for him in the secondary, or else this is going to be a long game otherwise.
Okay.
So we're rooting for him, though.
Oh, lots of great matchups today, so we're looking forward to that. And as always, of course, if you have not signed up yet, now is the time, because tips like this, you get all the inside projections coming from Russ and, of course, Jeff and the entire team.
That's right.
And you guys have a special for our viewers.
That's right. We have a giveaway this week. Whoever can email Jeff the name of the Arizona Cardinal who returned the opening kickoff 102 yards for a touchdown last week, first person to email Jeff at fantasyfootballstarters.com will win will win our championship plan, $24.95 value. And right now, the best part of that test is our alerts. Russ is sending out player alerts. What, 20, 25 a week?
You send them out like at 2 in the morning.
That's right. 25
players to drop, players to add. I know. Yeah, that's true. Guys going nonstop. What can I say? It's fantasy football test. It's week 4. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you sound a little bit excited. I guess you have to be, right, when it's your job 24/7.
Especially when you start at 3 in the morning with 7 cups of coffee and you're reading the waiver wire like a crazy.
Is that why you guys are wired?
That's right.
Well, we love it. Thank you so much for your tips. We appreciate it as always. You can find a link, of course, to Fantasy Football Starters by just going to our hotline at azfamily.com.